Before he was born, when Afeni was pregnant with him. When Tupac was shot the first time, he very famously didn't want to stay in the hospital anymore. And then he was convicted of sexual misconduct. So I went to see him in the attorney visiting room, Clinton prison. He said, "Uncle Jimmel," there was a young brother back in the prison ward. He said, "Tupac, I can't believe it's you. You're my hero. You be getting all the women. You done shot at the police. You get all the money." And Tupac said, "Double time out, young brother. If that's why I'm your hero, then I don't need to be anybody's hero." And he said, "Uncle Jimmel, I realize I'm probably gonna die. They're gonna kill me because I'm a Shakur. And my choice is, do I wanna go out like Tony Montana from Scarface, or do I wanna go out like Malcolm X? And I wanna go out like Malcolm." He said, "I had been smoking, drinking. I'm sober now, and I'm clear now. I'm gonna deal with my sobriety one day at a time, the way mommy is." And he laid out this vision. So I'm starting these community centers for these kids all around the country. I'm starting these production companies to tell our stories. A lot of folks will say, "Well, what happened?" Because when he came out, he got into the East Coast, West Coast thing, and he was beefing. What you're supposed to do with someone when they tell you, "I'm trying to deal with my sobriety, I'm trying to be focused," is keep things away from them. And then when he got out, there were folks that wanted to pry on that weakness. "Hip hop, smoke that joint, drink some champagne. You can celebrate your home now." To his credit, within a year of things kind of getting out of control and the beast getting heavy, he himself began to recognize, not only do I have to step away from Sugar and Death Row, I need to squash these beasts. So he had this One Nation project. He created this thing called the Code of Thug Life. It caused a lot of young gang members to stop fighting, to stop banging in the hood. He started, building the plans for that community center and for that restaurant and for those businesses. He had gotten engaged to Kadada and was going to, move fully into film. He loved acting. And he'd be the first to tell you he loved acting more than music. Tupac starred in A Raisin in the Sun at the Apollo when he was 9 years old. I'm sure he'd have like a dozen films, not only that he had starred in, but probably a dozen more that he had directed by this point. The universe and God only knows where arts and activism would be if Tupac, as a young man, he was only 25 years old, how many of us had those wild rides and had life-changing things happen, but did dumb stuff when we were in our teens and our 20s. But if he was still with us, I know that not only the state of the community, but the state of black arts and activism would be in a dynamic place. Jamal Joseph, writer, director, educator, activist, you're watching The Root. I joined the Black Panther Party when I was 15 years old and became one of the youngest national spokespersons for the Black Panther Party, but then went to prison and spent a total of 9.5 years. I started writing poetry, doing plays. I enrolled in all the college courses that I could. They found out that I had done some theater and said, "You need to do something for Black History Month." So I said, "Okay." And I went to the prison library and there was nothing there. I was like, "No, let me try to write something." And I'm rehearsing with a couple of the brothers, and some of the leaders of the Latino gang showed up. And they're sitting there with their arms folded like they really got beef with someone. They had had a couple of murders since they were in prison, right? Life on top of life. He stands up and he comes over to me. He was like, "Yo," I said, "let me talk to you a minute." I was like, "Damn, it's me. I just got here. What happened?" I said, "He's not feeling his character." True story. So I said, "Why don't you get in?" And he got in. I rewrote the play to add Latino characters. Some of the white brothers got suspicious. They came seeing if we were kind of forming a conspiracy against them. We added them in. Men who grew up hating each other, not trusting each other, are creating together. There are some funny dudes in prison, and they're good hecklers. It didn't matter who came in. They were like, "Oh, Leon, oh, you an actor now, huh? Why don't you act like you're gonna pay me them cigarettes you owe me?" They're really a tough audience, Literally, you can get killed for a bad review. And about 5 minutes into the play, something amazing happened. People were still shouting from the audience, but it was in context of what was happening on the stage. They were engaged. It was audience participation. I'm talking back to that screen the way we do at Magic Johnson Theater. Don't trust him, he's shady, but they're in the story. We got a standing ovation from our peers, from men who were doing 10, 25 years life in prison. People started saying, "You could do a movie, you're a good director." And I said, Yeah, I want to do that. I think I can do this. When I was released from prison, I pursued film studies at a couple of different programs, worked in theater, and started studying and apprenticing on film. The shorts and a feature script that I had written about the Black Power movement got me into Sundance, the directing lab. I went on to write a few screenplays, and then I directed for PBS and for Stars. And then from there, a few feature documentaries. So my advice for young people who want to get into film is to experience art beyond film as much as you can. Tupac Shakur, who was my godson, listened to classical music, took ballet. A lot of people don't know, studied Shakespeare when he was in Baltimore School of the Arts. Tupac would be the first to tell you that if you haven't done Shakespeare, you're not a real actor. So he was so knowledgeable that when he was creating, he was able to pull from all those different areas. So find your voice. And also live. Travel so that your vision of the world is larger than just your community, than just your apartment, than just your friends. The next project is going to be Panther Baby, which is an adaptation of my book. And it is a coming-of-age story because joining the Panthers for young Jimmel, for me, was as much about trying to find a path to manhood as it was about political expression and rebellion.
You ever jealous of the love Jada had for Tupac?
Oh my God, that dude! I couldn't handle it. We were in the room together a couple times. I couldn't speak to him.
Jada's my heart. You know what I mean? She would be my friend for my whole life.
It was beyond friendship for us,
And I was deeply, deeply insecure, and I wasn't man enough to handle that relationship. I was the soft rapper from Philly, and he was pop.
It would have gone bad, and we both instinctually knew
that. And there was a period where Mommy woke up and cried 45 days straight. I think that's the worst I've ever felt in our marriage.
As soon as he approached me, he was like a magnet. It was like once you paid attention to him, he kind of sucked you in. Pac was probably one of the first male figures that I had in my life that saw the beauty and the talent and my intelligence separated from sex. That's something that a young girl usually gets from their father. I didn't have that. He would tell me all the time, Jada, you're gonna be a star. You know what I mean? I'm like, Pac, come on. He's like, you're gonna be a star. You got it. You just got it.
I was the soft rapper from Philly, and he was pop.
I was in the car, and I had Jada's number. I called Jada. I said, hey, Jada, what's up? It's Will. I said, are you seeing anybody? She said, no. I said, cool, you're seeing me now.
As I was coming out of the life, he was going more into the life. There was a point in which we met, and then we kind of were going our separate ways.
He would be my friend for my whole life. She can have my one heart, my liver, my lungs, all of that.
But she just loved him like he was the image of perfection, but she was with the Fresh Prince. We were in the room together a couple times. I couldn't speak to him. He wasn't going to speak to me if I wasn't going to speak to him. She was like, I'm telling you, y'all are so similar. You love him. And I just never, I couldn't handle it,
My mother knocks on the hotel door. Will opens the door. As soon as I see her face, I knew he was gone.
I feel that he left me. I really did believe that he was going to be here for the long run.
The type of relationship we had, you only get that once in a lifetime.
Deeply, deeply insecure, and I wasn't man enough to handle that relationship. I had, all these grand ambitions of what I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. And I worked out and I got my body crazy and I did everything I could do to be the biggest movie star in the world.
Externally, our family was winning, right? And there was a period where Mommy woke up and cried 45 days straight. I think that's the worst I've ever felt in our marriage. I was failing miserably. But on the outside, I was winning. Like, I remember saying, like, I built this house for you. And she said, you built this house for you.
Yeah.
And I was like, but it was devastating for me to accept that I built the house for me.
Yep.
What I realized is I was building a picture.
I had spent so many years of my life building up Will Smith, trying to prove something. So then I made the shift.
Watch people, because you can fake for a long time, but one day you're gonna show yourself to be a phony. That's for sure. You know what I mean? And that's what these, a lot of people are doing these days. Don't support the phonies. Support the real.
I'm into my space now where I'm letting go of that, and I just gotta be good with me. And, I made a decision in that, and on my birthday, that I was gonna be free. I was gonna do all this stuff I wanted to do.
As much as we wish our partners never hurt us, as much as we wish that they came into relationships with no flaws, relationships really are about self-discovery, believe it or not.
I would go, Will, throw away everything that's happening in the outside world. Your career, everything. And it's just me and you on an island.
Damn.
What do we have?
I was unaware of what it meant to truly connect with somebody. I've never met anybody like you, and I knew if I wasn't with you, I'd be searching in vain for the rest of my life. The greatest motivator and asset for me with you is your absolute refusal to accept anything from me other than the best that I could possibly be.